In 2014, I bought my dog Simba. He was a Yorkshire Terrier, and honestly, from day one, I thought I was smashing it. I did what everyone else does. I went straight into training: paw, sit down, roll over. I was watching all the YouTube videos and reading the books like Easy Peasy Puppy Squeezy and following people like Zach George. Basically doing everything first-time dog owners are told to do. And then, about 6 months later, that's when it started. At first, he started barking at small dogs, then big dogs, then male dogs, and then eventually it was just all dogs. And the thing is, I followed all the rules. I socialized him, I let him play with loads of different dogs, I even used the harness. I did everything I thought I was meant to do, and it still went wrong. But here's the truth, I didn't do anything right. I was just following the wrong advice. And honestly, that's not even my fault, because it's the same mistake people are still making now. We listen to what we want to hear, not what we need to hear. Everyone wants quick, easy fixes. So when someone says, just socialize your dog, give them treats, you'll be fine, we believe it. And before you know it, you've got a reactive dog. And let's be real for a second. That's like raising a kid by letting them eat sweets all day, never saying no, and then being shocked when they turn into a little menace in Tesco, screaming because you didn't buy them a Kinder Bueno. Of course, they're gonna kick off. You literally train that behavior. Now fast forward a few months, Simba was a solid dog, calm, neutral, no drama around other dogs, and just to be clear, it did not take me 10 years to fix him. But here's the bit people don't talk about. It took consistency, it took structure, and it took actually understanding what I was doing wrong. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's like when you realize your parents were actually right about stuff. You don't want to admit it, but deep down you're like, that makes sense now. Same with dog training. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what I got wrong, and more importantly, what I'd do differently if I started again. And this is the bit where people switch off, because it's not sexy, it's not 3 easy tricks, it's not fix your dog in 10 minutes, it's the boring stuff. The stuff no one wants to hear. Everyone wants the cute puppy, the cuddles, the Instagram photos, no one wants the reality. Imagine having a kid, and every time they screamed in Tesco, you just handed them sweets to shut them up. That kid would turn into an absolute menace, but that's exactly what people do with their dogs. If the dog barks, give them a treat. If the dog pulls, let them get where they want. If the dog ignores you, repeat the command 15 times like it's magically gonna work on the 16th. Mate, your dog heard you the first time, he just chose not to listen. And then people say, he's stubborn. No, he is not stubborn, he just learned you don't mean anything you say. Okay, so mistake number 1, socialization. So everyone talks about this critical socialization period from 6 weeks to 16 weeks, and yeah, that is real. That's when your dog's meant to see the world. But here is where it all goes wrong. Everyone tells you don't take your puppy out until they have had their second vaccination. Sounds sensible, right? But what that actually does is leave you with like 4 weeks of socialization. 4 weeks to show your dog everything. And what do people do? They try and cram it all in. New places, new dogs, new environments, everything at once. And instead of building confidence, you just overwhelm the dog. Now Simba handled it all right. He was a confident dog, but everything still felt new to him. Every walk was like, what's this? What's that? What's that? And I couldn't get any engagement. And here's something else people don't realize. Socialization isn't about interaction. It's about neutrality. Your dog doesn't need to meet everything. They need to be calm around everything. That's the difference. Everyone hears socialize your dog and think that means turning their puppy into a social butterfly. Your dog doesn't need 50 friends. It's not Love Island. They don't need to couple up with every dog they see. Now with my younger dog Teddy, I did it completely differently. I didn't wait. I took him out early. Now before people panic, I didn't just throw him on the ground. I literally put him in my arms and I carried him. And the difference was actually mad. He just sit in my arms, taking everything in. No pressure, no overwhelm, just exposure. Now, a simple rule I give to all my clients is this. Take your dog somewhere new every other day. That's it. It doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be perfect, just consistent exposure. The more they see, the more normal life becomes. And again, same as kids, you don't teach a child how to behave in public by locking them in the house for 4 months, then taking them to a park shopping center and hoping for the best. That's not a plan, that's chaos management. And the second mistake, and this is the big one, I let Simba meet every dog. Every single one. I thought I was doing the right thing. More dogs equals better socialization. That's what everyone says, right? Wrong. What I actually did was make every dog the most exciting thing in this world. So fast forward, now I've got this dog losing his mind every time he sees another dog, because in his head, every dog means fun. Every dog means play. Every dog is like a reward. And here's where it gets worse. I'd actually let him pull me over to the dogs. So not only was I rewarding the excitement, I was also rewarding the pulling and completely losing all relevance. And then when he couldn't get to them, he'd get frustrated. And frustration turns into aggression, and aggression turns into reactivity. And that is where the reactivity came from. And people do this all the time. They have basically got a dog dragging them down the street like a sled dog, arms stretched out, getting shoulder dislocations, but it's fine because he just loves other dogs. Yeah, until he doesn't get to say hello, and then suddenly it's World War III on the lead. Now with Teddy, I flipped it. When he saw another dog, I made sure I was more important. I worked on engagement, play and focus, and I'd reward calm behavior around dogs, not excitement towards them. And now, dogs don't mean anything to him. They're just there like trees or lampposts or whatever. That's what you want, because let's be honest, you don't want a dog that thinks every dog is their best mate. That's like having a kid that runs up to every stranger shouting, "Wanna be friends?" It's not cute, it's a liability. And the third mistake is using high value treats. I was told as well, use high value treats. So I did. I used chicken, cheese and expensive stuff. And yeah, it worked for like 3 days. And then suddenly he didn't care anymore. He wouldn't take the food outside. And I was stood there thinking, what am I meant to do now? But here's the reality, it's not high value. The food was just new. And once it's not new anymore, your dog is not bothered. And here's another problem. If your dog only listens when you've got food, they don't actually listen. They're just waiting for a bribe. It's like a kid that only tidies their room once you give them a 20 quid note. And then once you take the money away, suddenly they've forgotten how to clean. Funny that. So with Teddy, I did something different. I put him on what I call minimum wage. Everything he ate came from me. No free feeding, no constant treats. If he wanted food, he had to work for it. And suddenly, every single kibble mattered. And that makes training 10 times easier, because now you actually have leverage. And no, it's not cruel. What's cruel is having a dog that doesn't listen, can't cope in the world, and ends up stressed, out of his mind every time he leaves the house. And the last one, and honestly this is the most underrated one, is using a house line. I didn't use one with Simba. So when he was chewing stuff, ignoring me, doing whatever he wanted, I had no control. And every time he ignored me, he was learning that he didn't have to listen. And this is where people go wrong. They either ignore it or they overreact, shouting, grabbing, dragging the dog around. And that just creates more problems. And again, think about kids. If a kid ignores you 50 times a day and nothing happens, what do you think they're learning? Yeah, I don't really have to listen. Exactly. It's the same with dogs. Now with Teddy, I use a house line from day one. If he did something wrong, I interrupted it and then I guided him back to do something better. There was no shouting, there was no dragging, there was no stress, just clear and calm guidance. And over time, that builds a dog that actually listens. Because control isn't about being harsh, it's about being consistent. And most people don't lack love for their dog, they lack leadership. And here's something else I wish someone told me earlier. Your dog isn't being stubborn. They're not sitting there plotting against you like some evil mastermind thinking, yeah, I'm gonna ignore him today just for fun. They're just doing what works. That's it. Dogs repeat what gets them results. So if pulling works, they pull. If barking works, they bark. If ignoring you works, they ignore you. It's not personal, it's just patterns. And that's it really. Looking back, I got a lot wrong with Simba. And I was lucky it didn't turn out worse. But most people aren't bad owners, they're just following bad advice. So if you've got a puppy or even a reactive dog, take this seriously because this stuff matters. And the earlier you fix it, the easier your life becomes. And trust me, life with a well-behaved dog is completely different. You can actually enjoy walks, go to cafes, have people over, instead of planning your entire day around avoiding triggers like you're in some kind of tactical mission. If this has helped, drop a like, subscribe, and in the comments tell me what your dog struggles with, because chances are I've been through it and I'll help you fix it.